Have you ever wondered where your thoughts live? Where do they go? And where do they come from? Welcome to Healing Perspectives Podcast with me, Certified Medical Intuitive Tracy Frederick. I can help you shift your perspective by changing the way you think so you can truly change the way you live. Each episode, I focus on real root causes of illness, the thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and spiritual disconnection that affect the human body. You will hear real-life stories of what gets stored in the body and how people have healed. Working alongside my healing guide, Tommy, from the non-physical realm, I explore why certain conditions show up, what they mean, and remind you of the power you have to heal yourself. This show is about medical intuition, healing the mind, body, and spirit by making the connection with clarity, compassion, and practical suggestions you can use in your everyday life. Let's get started.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Pat, and I'm the co-host of this amazing show for those of you out there. You know, in the previous shows, we have been talking about the chakra system. And so let me just give you a recap. Because today's show, in exploring the influence and the wisdom, we're going to be looking at the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th chakras. That's right. We're going to look at all of them. They kind of make sense when you think about it. But what's more important is what Tracy is going to do, because this is what she does, is she's going to walk us through not just what it's about, but the impact. How do you know if you're out of alignment, out of balance? What are some of the things that may be showing up for you? Do you know what the energy field is around every chakra? Now, in the previous episodes, we walked you through the chakra system in general. And I think if you're taking a look on the screen, you're going to see a video that demonstrates to you what that is going on in our system all the time. But we looked at that first chakra, then we looked at the second chakra, which is about, looking at us, look at relationships, dissolve wounds. And so as we go through that, what's the question? What's the question in all of these? But how do we regain personal power where it's lost? How do we connect infinitely to spirit? How do we understand the everyday lives we have? So if you have missed it, go back and take a listen. But for the show today, we're going to be digging in to the wisdom of what is to come. And why is this important? Well, I'm going to let Tracy tell you about that. Tracy, this is a great episode. We need to really get at it, though, because this is some good stuff.
It's a lot of information. We're going to just cram the show full of good information.
Yeah.
But yes, today we're going to start off with the 4th chakra, which is the bridge between the lower chakras, which is actually our physical world, and the upper chakras, which is our spiritual awareness. And the heart is where we find the balance between the two. That's why they call it the bridge. This is the place where you have love, you give love, but it's also the place where you have to allow yourself to receive love. Otherwise, you may end up with a heart blockage of some type. This energy center becomes blocked when we're afraid to open our heart. That means open our heart to other people, open our heart to relationships. And it can be blocked when we are unable to authentically express our emotions, what we're feeling, and we just can't get it out. But it's not just love, but joy, happiness. And then, of course, there's those other emotions that we don't like to feel, but they're very important. Sadness, anger, loneliness. And remember, emotions, no matter what they are meant to be expressed. Otherwise, the body is going to hold on to them. So that's why it's very important to know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and allow yourself to express these emotions. So there are some things that we will experience within our heart. And one of those things is emotional fears and not allowing someone to be loving towards you. And that happens a lot. Like there might be some uneasiness in relationships with, like, say, parents and children, so to speak. And if a child has a really hard time getting over something or getting through a situation, something that their parent may have put them through, and they cannot allow themselves to receive the love that the parent may want to offer at a later age and stage in life. When you don't allow that love to come in, then that can cause, again, a heart blockage. You may lack a desire to have attention or affection. That's an emotional fear because if I give my thoughts and feelings and if I have too much attention or I want attention, then again, that heart can be blocked. It can also become numb. You can have your emotions, you can become numb to your emotions. That's a serious emotional issue that lies within the heart. And sometimes you can't find the words to express how you feel or what you really want to say. So then those are the people that will just what we call emotionally check out. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to express it. And Dr. Pat, I don't know about you, but if you know any younger people, teenagers, it's why
Yeah.
they turn inward. They want to become a lot more introverted. And it's because they don't know how to express their feelings. They've never been able to express them. They've never even acknowledged what they even are going through. So it's
Yeah.
very difficult. Yeah, it's very hard for
Yeah, and
those
the other
young
part of
teens.
it too is they're kind of left, don't you feel sometimes? I mean, I'm not saying this is you or me,
Right.
but sometimes they're left on their own to
Yeah,
try to figure that out, right? To
absolutely.
try to figure
Yeah.
out, oh,
Yeah.
what should I say? How do I say it?
Yeah. It's kind of like looking for something, but you don't know where to look and you're not
Yeah,
even sure what you're looking for. Yeah. So where do you turn? You don't. You just stay where you are and you think this is what life is supposed to be like. Another component to that is you must also be able to love others and love yourself unconditionally.
uh-huh.
Otherwise, the heart will have an ache of some sort, may have an aching, a pain, or whatever. Um, and that it's very difficult for us to love ourselves unconditionally. We can certainly think of loving a pet or someone else unconditionally, but it's really difficult to think about loving your own self unconditionally. And just I can attest to how hard that is. I work in front of a mirror every single day. Ask me how many times do I look at myself in that mirror? Not many. I don't want to see me. I don't want to talk to me. That's what we do. We don't want to look in the mirror. We don't want to see our flaws. We don't want to embrace anything about us. But truthfully, if we could give ourselves that unconditional love, our heart would be so much happier and healthier.
Yeah. I mean, what you're talking about is a complete circle around whatever has popped up in our lives that is unresolved, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And then, of course, we get into this inability to forgive, whether it's yourself or whether it's others. That is a heart issue. That is a heart chakra issue. And forgiveness simply means letting go of the pain that the situation is causing you and choosing to no longer hold your mind hostage for the actions that have been committed against you. That's all forgiveness is. I know it sounds simple for some people and it's really difficult for others, but unforgiveness will affect your heart physically. And I've even mentioned it here, I think, on this show several times. Check the aortic valve of someone. That's where that energy of unforgiveness likes to congregate into that area of the heart. Not good. Not good at all. Yeah. But also commitment issues. Like when you can't commit to a relationship or you can't commit to a project or you can't commit to yourself. If you have a commitment issue, that's a heart problem. Um, and an example of that, people know, like committing to yourself, people are not necessarily in complete understanding what that means. But if I say I'm going to go to the health club today, or I'm going to go 3 days a
Oh,
week, yeah. And then my girlfriend calls and says, "Hey, let's go do lunch instead." But on some level, you really want to go to the health club and you allow someone else, like calling for lunch or some other phone call takes precedence, and you say, "Okay, well, I'm just not going to go.
yeah,
I'm just not going to go." One time is okay, but when you do that on a repeated that on a regular basis, you're not committing to yourself, and you're also committing the act of betrayal to your own self. You're
yeah,
betraying what you really want to happen. And again, that's all about the heart. And the heart wants to experience, true joy. It wants to experience happiness. And sometimes we get caught up in wanting material things versus emotional joy. And there's a lot to be said for that. And we hear it a lot. And I know you're probably tired of hearing it that Money doesn't buy happiness. Things don't buy us happiness. But honestly, there's still a lot of people that are in that material world. And we just know that those type of things are just so temporary and they don't bring the joy and the happiness that it's just so fleeting.
Yeah.
And go ahead. I want
I
to ask
think
you
about
something.
Mother Teresa. Anytime somebody brings up an example, I'm always asked, well, who are you talking about that doesn't want the money? I say it's not about the money, it's about the meaning. It's about the
Absolutely.
meaning in life. And I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, it is.
And yeah, right.
Yeah. And people have a hard time defining that meaning for
Yeah,
themselves. So that's let me get another shiny thing because
yeah,
that's going to do the trick for me, right? Yeah. And it will very temporarily. But have you ever noticed, Dr. Pat, people that when they're older and they retire,
yeah,
they had this wonderful way of teaching us how to be content. For some, not all, but for some, they've done it all. They've had it all. They've they're just like, okay, now I'm in my golden years and I'm okay with everything I have. They really truly teach us that material things just don't really matter. And you could also think about maybe like a grandparent or a parent for some people, but for me, like it would be like a grandparent. And all they really want, they don't want you to buy them anything. They're not saying,
right.
hey, they're not saying, come take me to dinner. They're not saying all that, but they're saying, come spend time with me.
Yeah,
I want that companionship. And that's exactly why when someone at an older age may lose a spouse and they are longing for that companionship is what they're longing for. They don't want the material things. They don't need all the material things anymore. They're just wanting that
yeah,
companionship. Yeah, and the research shows that these people that do reunite with someone for this companionship and to keep themselves from being lonely, the research shows that these people actually do live longer than the people that continue to grieve a spouse and they just can't seem to get over it and move on.
yeah. You know what? So I want you to talk about this because I think this is one of these chakras that's a bit misleading for people. And let me tell you what I mean. Everybody thinks of the heart and they think it's like in one place, but on the body, we're not just talking about put your hand on your heart. There's a whole
Yeah,
energy area. Talk
yeah.
to what that includes, that whole
Well,
area.
okay, so the whole area is the heart that we just mentioned, but it's also your rib cage. What does the ribs do? They protect the organs. It's your diaphragm. It's the breast. It's the esophagus. It's also your arms and your hands, your lungs. That's in the located in the fourth chakra. Your circulatory system, your blood, and also your thymus gland which, if you remember in the very first episode, I told the story about my first client that was diagnosed, well, was misdiagnosed with breast cancer. I believe that her real issue was the thymus gland, which makes T cells, and this relates to our blood. Our blood circulates through our whole system. And I truly believe that she was experiencing some form of self hatred or unforgiveness towards herself and that's what was going on in her thymus gland, but it was medically diagnosed as a cancer. And I'm not here to dispute that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse, but I do believe after going back and looking at her, we did pick up something in her thymus gland.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's very important.
Yeah.
And, of course, some of the health conditions that you will experience if you have a blocked heart chakra, heart disease, breast cancer, lung cancer, other kinds of lung issues, hand and arm issues, carpal tunnel syndrome. I know lots of hairstylists that have carpal tunnel syndrome. Not me, thank goodness. I love my job, and it's all good for me. But so the big question becomes how do we get that fourth chakra back into balance? What is it going to take to get that fourth chakra back into balance? And one of the ways is to volunteer. When you start doing something for someone else, and as they say, when you get your mind off of your own self and your own troubles, and you start doing something for somebody else, the heart opens up. And that's when you volunteer, your heart is being much more open to compassion, to kindness, to the sensitivity of others. So it's really good to volunteer if you want to work on your heart chakra. And of course, you can practice some self compassion, which I know can be difficult. Speaking to yourself like you would someone else that you really love and care about. That's a practice. Like I said, I struggle with it, but it is a definite way to help open up that heart chakra. And then, of course, we can always get into forgiveness. And forgiveness doesn't mean approving of what happened. It just means to no longer carry the emotional weight, the emotional baggage that you're carrying from that unforgiveness. So, journal prompts or things, sit down with yourself and do some forgiveness, some forgiveness work. And of course, for me, what helps a lot is to express gratitude, focusing on what's in the present moment, what's happening right now, instead of focusing on what I wish was happening or focusing on what's not happening. Because if you're doing all of that, then you're robbing yourself of the present moment. And the heart will shift when you can get into that state of gratitude. Makes a huge
Yeah.
difference. Gratitude is
Yeah.
huge.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah,
And this is really, when we think about this, we're thinking about, this particular chakra really opens up the storyline, shall we say, for the fifth, sixth, and seventh,
it
right?
does.
Because we talk about the heart, but we don't understand the connection. As we move and take a look at some of the other chakras, we see that things are related. But you just took us through things like heart disease, issues in the lung, not being able to breathe, right?
Hmm.
Just carrying more of a load. But when we start to move really to the fifth chakra, we're talking about something that most people don't really quite get, and it's relationship, right? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, so the fifth chakra is all about vibration. The best word to use to describe the fifth chakra is expression. This energy center is all about expression. How do you express? It's the throat, it's the center of our communication, it's sound, it's vibration, it's speaking, speaking anything, speaking everything, speaking the truth. And it's also your ability to listen. You know, people don't always want to listen. We just want to talk, but listening is a huge component of the fifth chakra. Yeah, it's also where we express ourselves in all ways. And it's also how do you receive the expression of others? How do you receive the expression of others? Here's what I'm talking.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is, I think, a really a good example. How receptive are you to how other people express themselves? And the way I see it show up a lot is clothing. Like that's a true form of self-expression. But how many people say, "Oh, I can't believe she dressed like that. I can't believe he wore that." What? Well, when you're doing that and when you're saying that, you're not able to receive and you're not able to accept people for who they are. And then that brings us into a whole nother category of judgment, which we're not going to get into. But when you can't receive people for who they are and you can't accept them for who they are, then that becomes a real issue with your fifth chakra because you're not wanting them to go into full expression.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
just worried about yourself. Like, I can't believe that. Oh
Yeah.
my,
But
silly.
people don't realize, Tracy, what I love about this one is people don't realize that when they have that thing that goes on like that with how they feel about other people, they have
Hmm.
no idea of the damage they're doing in this chakra area.
They have no earthly
They're looking
idea.
at somebody else and they're saying, la 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 la, oh my God, how could you put on that bathing suit, honey?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
but they don't understand what that energy, what they're feeding, right? To
exactly.
themselves.
Exactly. And that's just what I was fixing to say. It's what they're doing to themselves. They think it's about the other person. And every time I hear somebody say something like that, I just want to laugh. It's like, that's about you.
Yeah.
That's about you. It's
Yeah.
not about them wearing the bikini. It's about you not accepting them wearing the bikini.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about our dads for a minute. I think you
Yeah.
got a story about that. Let's talk about an example that happens when we're kids. I think
Yeah.
you and I have different examples, but kind of the same kind of impact from our dads. What was it
Yes.
like for you with your dad or mom or
Well, so, my mom's famous saying was, you're to be seen and not heard. Well,
oh my
nothing
God,
shut,
right.
yeah, nothing shuts a kid down faster than
Yeah.
telling them that you're not worthy to be seen or heard. So
Yeah.
that's a big one and I think parents don't do that as much these days as they did in our day. But the same thing, like with my dad, he was very smart and he was a math whiz. Math is probably my worst subject, but he was always telling me things like, you know, making me feel stupid. Like I should have known that.
Yep.
We've measured this, Tracy, two or three times. You should have remembered that number by now. It's like, I can't remember that, you know? So that's the kind of things that will block our fifth chakra. You know, hearing those kind of words and starts to put you in a different state of mind. And feeling stupid is one of those things. And that's going to block that fifth chakra because what happens is you choose not to speak up, you choose not to say anything. But the amazing thing about that is this is where I really want people to get this. When I did start speaking up, as a child, I didn't speak up, but as an adult, and I started to speak up, then what I noticed is the relationship with my dad changed. He would never, as I got a little bit older and set my boundaries, he would never talk to me like
Yeah,
that. And to this day, he would never, ever speak to me in any other form other than kindness.
yeah,
So the point I'm making is when you start to stand up for yourself and you start to talk and speak your truth and you do it in a way that benefits you and it benefits the other person, the relationship with that person or other people will change. Why? Because you've changed. You've taken different action. And
yeah.
that's how you help to heal that fifth chakra.
Well, I got lucky because my dad, I stuttered. So my dad wouldn't bother talking to me, but he was brutal on my stepsister Joyce. Beautiful, beautiful young girl. And my dad was very sarcastic. You know that kidding thing? Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
not kidding. It's not a joke. And he
Yeah.
would she was never good enough for him. And my gosh, she could have been on the cover of a magazine. But he
Wow.
didn't even try with me because, honestly, I learned a few things growing up in an Italian family, and one of them was a hand gesture. And so he would never do that with me. But again, these are the things that shape people,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, something else that lies in this fifth chakra is our ability to write. So some people are great writers, singers, play music.
yeah,
All of that comes from your fifth chakra. And that's all, when you can do that, that's exercising your fifth chakra. And those body parts that are going to be affected, that's going to be your throat, that's going to be your mouth, your teeth, your gums, your ears, the thyroid. We've talked about that plenty of times on this show. The parathyroid, the trachea, the esophagus, the endocrine system. All of that is going to lie within that fifth chakra.
yeah.
And
Well, I love that you're talking about that because even though I comment that I stuttered, I could play a viola, first viola at a
wow.
very young age, right? Couldn't talk,
Yeah.
but I could read that music. I understood it. And I was one of the youngest people to make first viola in the Bronx
Wow.
City Orchestra.
Amazing.
Of course, we didn't stay there because my dad's badgering on my stepsister forced her to join a gang in New York, and so we had to get out of town. But
Oh,
that's a whole different show. But
that's a
but
whole
but
different
but you
show.
see, it's all like
Yeah.
it's all connected. Just
Yeah.
because there's one thing going on, the chakra system and the way you described it gives us a lot of options.
It does. I'm just curious to know, how do you think you healed your fifth chakra from the stuttering? How do you think you healed that?
Other was my stepmom. My stepmom was an amazing woman. She believed in possibility. First child at 12, second child 13, drug herself up, educated herself, GED, went on real estate license and helped rebuild Florida after Andrew. So my stepmom was the queen of optimism. And she is okay. We don't have time today. But
Okay, I
my
know.
mom, I remember one day when the family was deciding where all the girls were going to go to school and secretary of school, then they came to me and my stepmom jumped in and said, honey, over my dead body, I will lock the bedroom door. She is going to Christopher Columbus High School and she's going to play the viola. And that's enough of that.
There you go.
That's my stepmom. So how did I heal it? I had help.
Yeah, you did.
I don't know that I would have healed it
Well,
without her
yeah, without that
influence.
help, I can agree to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. I was just curious to know that. I think
Yeah,
it's a
she was
great
tough as
story.
nails though. I ain't paid my stepmom as just like
Yeah.
Saint Mary or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she straightened me out. She's like, honey, you can't get away with that with me.
Good for you. That was great. Another body part that I'd like to mention is the neck and the shoulders, because I totally 100% relate to that. My neck and
Yeah.
shoulders to this day is bothering me. And I know what that's all about. It's what am I carrying? It's what am I holding on to?
Oh,
Got a few too many things going on. But it also encompasses our thoracic vertebrae T1 and our cervical vertebrae, C1 through C7. And that's when you're feeling overburdened with responsibilities. That's where that's going to lie. That's in that shoulder, that neck. It's just hanging on to a lot. And I'd like to say that we never know how the body is going to show us what we need to know, but we just have to
Man,
trust that it will. The
I
body
gotta
is,
tell you, this one, chiropractors are making a lot of money off of my family here
oh,
recently. But it's interesting. I mean, Linda and I don't have a shoulder problem, but I showed up with a neck problem the other day and I was getting ready for this show. But how many people, let me ask you a question. How many people do you think are walking around and just have normalized their neck pain, their shoulder pain, and don't realize what you're about to
yeah.
tell them?
A lot, a lot, because we just think that that's acceptable. I'd also like to mention just a little sidebar here. The neck is a joint and it has to be flexible. You have to look to the right, you have to look to the left. You have to see all situations from all sides. So for anybody that's having neck issues, yeah, just take a look all around and see what is it that you might can change and what you might can adopt. That may help you out in an emotional level. Maybe not on a
Yeah.
physical level, but it will definitely help you out on an emotional level to just look at all areas. But yeah, lots of people are ignoring that type of pain because yeah, we all have it to some degree. Now, some health concerns that are associated with the fifth chakra, we've talked about this before. Thyroid issues, feeling controlled by others or by a situation. And I've told that story how I healed my own thyroid. Didn't even know I could do that, but I did. Go back and listen to that somewhere in the last couple of episodes. A lump in your throat or laryngitis, sore throat, jaw pain, all of these, strep throat. Those are all physical ailments that we will get in the throat
Yeah.
area. Stiff neck, arthritis. Arthritis carries a lot of anger. So just saying. Tone deaf, ringing in the ears, tinnitus, Meniere's disease, all of those things
Hmm.
that are concerned with the ears. Yeah.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that in the fifth chakra. And
Yeah.
so, hypothetical situation. So, you meet somebody or you know somebody, and over a course of a year, they got the tinnitus thing. Am I saying that right? I get that
Yeah.
mixed up with
That's how,
sinus. That's the
that's,
ringing thing. They
yeah.
got the
Tinnitus is the ringing in the ears.
they
Yeah.
got the ringing thing, and then now the next thing is I got a little lump here in my little thyroid. Okay, that's that going on, and then like now, okay, but
Put them
it
all together.
but you understand what I'm saying
Yeah.
is what the
We,
message for the audience too today, Tracy, right?
yeah.
One, I want to remind everybody, let's just take a pause for a minute. Neither one of us, well, I'll speak for me. I don't know about Tracy. I have not gotten to where I am today. And I will clearly tell you on this show, I'll make an admission. I am not going to get to where I want to go by this time next year without help.
Yeah.
And that help means you call, you email, you get on a call with Tracy and you get help. And
Yeah.
and this is why am I so emphatic about this? Because I've had a couple of people, Tracy, this week that are in so much pain. And this is not my area. I do
Yeah.
not take on clients where it is just not my wheelhouse. And so this is the work you do. Everything we're talking about and the solutions today you
Right.
help them get to. So how do people get a hold of you? Let's get them there.
Okay. Best way to reach me is through my website, www.tracyrfrederick.com. Go to the contact me section, it'll send me an email. You tell me, ask a question. You can ask for an appointment for a 15-minute complimentary consultation. We can just have a 15-minute chat. Send me an email. Just contact me. I'll be
Yeah,
back in touch with you and I'll help you work through this. This is what I do. I help people with the emotional aspects of their physical
yeah.
conditions. Not a doctor, not a nurse, can't help you in that area, but I can definitely help you figure out what's going on with you emotionally so that you can clear it up and your body will start to feel a release and you can start to be a little bit healthier. So,
I love it.
yeah.
Now let's keep going with this because this is the part that you also can help people with. And I'm going to be very clear about this. This particular chakra really touches the spiritual nerve, if I should call it that,
Yeah. Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
it? I say
Absolutely,
the
it does.
spiritual nerve because you say spirit of God or something like that, and people they just leave the room. I
Yeah.
used to do that. I don't do that anymore. But how so? Tell us how so.
Well, because this chakra has to do with the inability to know that you can connect with your higher self. You can connect with your body. You connect with God, the divine. You connect with other human beings. All of that is spiritual components of this fifth chakra. Uh, Not realizing that you have the ability to hear and call on the angels to help you,
Yeah.
your spirit guides, deceased loved ones that are on the other side that that can help you out, other non-physical beings. I call on these non-physical beings all the time. I just did that this morning. I had a flat tire. It's like, oh my gosh, I've got this podcast to do. What am I going to do? Okay, I need somebody. I need somebody to help me. Who's going to be there? And when I tell you, I got into the place, got my tire fixed, getting ready to leave, and the guy says, "Oh, no charge." I mean, it's
Is this a
$45.
true
No,
story?
this is
Are
a
you
true
telling like
story.
a true story today?
Yes, this happened to this morning. Yeah, yeah. And not only did I get in and out in less than an hour, the guy says,
Wow.
"Oh, there's not going to be any charge." It's like, oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you to the angel that sent that helper. That's all I did was ask, and I received. And I'm telling you, when you can put yourself in that
Yeah.
receiving mode, that's this chakra will help you to open up and just ask, ask, ask,
Yeah.
ask, ask. But yeah, listening to that higher guidance can inspire us. But when we don't listen, then the intuitive information is not going to come. We'll get into a lack of inspiration. We won't be able to write. We won't be able to sing. But you know, we'll fall out of the ability to do self-expression. So
Yeah.
yeah, other ways to get this chakra back into balance. This is my favorite thing to do. My favorite. Get in the car and crank the radio up. Find a song that you love and crank it up and sing along with it. That's easy to do because nobody's listening. You can do the same thing in your shower, but sing in the shower. That is very healing.
Oh my
Anything
God.
to anything to exercise that voice will
Yeah.
definitely help. Yeah,
Okay, so let me ask you this question. I got to say this because I know I got a message this morning from somebody who knows the kind of music I'll listen to. So a little text message teasing me saying, "Okay, what were you listening and singing to today?" And so sometimes I shouldn't answer those questions like 100% truthfully. I said, "Well, I'm listening to Creep by Radiohead and Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones." Okay. So they're not the only two songs, but I didn't go into the context of what that was about, right?
right.
Now, I'm getting ready to do a whole show on that song by Radiohead.
Nice.
So I didn't, okay. And I'm getting ready to do a show on the Rolling Stones Sympathy for the Devil. But I didn't explain it. And my friend's like, I'm coming over right now. I'm coming over.
She's gonna.
But it doesn't matter. You see, it's an expression.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you can do that, what you're doing is, especially whenever you sing along to a song that you really
Oh,
like. Yeah, you know what
oh,
else you're doing? Do you have a clue what you're doing?
I don't.
You're raising your vibration.
I love it though.
Yeah, and so when you get in that higher level of vibration, well, that's where you can see all the things that are actually happening that you don't even have a clue,
Yeah. Then
or
I
you get
texted her
even more
back and
connected.
said, okay, no alert. I'm also listening to Oh Happy Day. So just calm down. But this is what we're talking about with this chakra and singing in the shower. Look, we don't do this enough.
No, we don't. We
Mm.
don't. Yeah, and then
What else?
well, you can participate in a sound bath. I've done several sound baths. They're
What's
very
a sound
healing.
bath? Tell people what a sound bath
So
is.
I don't perform the sound bath. I just attend them. But it's where they have the singing bowls, and if
Oh,
you
yes.
they play the singing bowls, and they play a healing frequency. Depends, they set an intention, play a healing frequency. Also, I have a friend that does them, and she has a beautiful voice, and she will sing.
Hmm.
And the sound, the vibration, it's all about vibration. The vibration of the bowls, the frequency that's putting out, the singing, the humming, the drumming, all of that will
Yeah.
open up that fifth chakra and give it some breathing room and allow you to release some stuff that you don't necessarily
Yeah.
want.
Now I know
Yeah.
we got the sixth chakra coming up, but I got to tell you something. This was a wounding for me as a kid.
The sixth chakra?
Yeah, the singing. It's the sixth
Oh,
chakra. Because Mama Doris used to get us three girls all dressed the same, like in those sticky little freaking crinoline dresses. I hated this stuff. And myself and my two sisters and Doris and Joyce could sing. Her children could sing. And they would put me in there and I'd be singing. And Joyce would whisper over and say, hey, Patty, hey, y'all don't just move your lips. y'all, we got this. Just you all don't sing. Just move your lips. She's saying it. We'll be here all day if you sing out loud. That's what she said.
It is so
But
funny.
because I look, each of us have our talent.
Yeah.
So part of this chakra is not questioning whether you can do it right or
Right.
wrong. Just
Right.
do it.
It's just about doing it. Yeah. It's just
I
about
well,
it's just about exercising that chakra. It's not about
get it
like
done.
yeah, because I am definitely not a singer, but when I'm solo by myself, yep, I'm the only one on stage and it
I
works for
know.
me.
I'm telling you, when I'm singing that song upstairs in my office, you'll see Linda come flying up the stairs saying, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "What's
Yeah,
up?" She's like,
I'm
"You
fine.
you sick or something?" No, I'm not. All right, sixth chakra.
Yep, let's move on up to the sixth chakra and see what we can discover about this energy center.
Mm,
I love this. I love the sixth chakra.
me
This
too.
energy center is also known as the third eye, which is right here in the center of your forehead. And it's the gateway to cosmic wisdom. It helps us to channel mind, energy, consciousness. And this chakra also empowers us to become more aware, more aware of the possibilities, the ideas, the inspiration, and the cosmic wisdom that's visions that can be given to us. It's all about that awareness. It's like you start to see, you start to understand, and get the little downloads. Our thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs and judgments are meant to evolve. But when we don't, well, when we do accept the higher truths that come in and the higher forms of wisdom, that's how we become transformed. So, in other words, when you get one of those aha moments, don't you get transformed?
Oh
Yeah,
my, I had one this weekend.
yeah, it makes sense. It's like, oh my
Yeah,
goodness, boom.
yeah. And
That's what we're talking about here.
yeah, but to your point though, if you get that aha moment about something that you should have been doing, do not go there because then you got to go back to the other chakras and fix that, right? But you know what I'm saying? You get an aha
Yeah.
moment. Like I got one this weekend about Unstuckable, and I have two things I have to do, which I hate doing. One, I got to send out a cease and desist letter for people using the
Mm,
trademark. And my attorney told me to do that 6 months ago.
So you don't want to exercise the fifth chakra.
But let me tell you what happened with that. Because of that, do you know I haven't been working on the brand of the game? So the epiphany was, I can't explain it, but it
Yeah.
was like a spiritual
Yeah,
thing. You
you got it.
understand?
Yeah, you
Okay.
totally got it. As
Yeah,
long
I
as you
can't
got it,
explain it.
it doesn't matter if
I
anyone
got
else
it.
gets. And that's what the aha moments do for us. They're not for anybody else. They're just for us. And
Oh
as long
yeah,
as you
this is a
get it
big
and
one.
yeah, as long as you can get it and you understand it, that's all
Yeah.
that really counts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when we're stuck in our negative judgments, our attitudes, our limited way of thinking, we restrict the flow of this life force energy. And then what happens is our brain will start to shrink, it'll wither, it'll short circuit. And these are
What?
all, yeah, yeah, your brain. Yeah, because you're stuck. You're not, the energy's not flowing. Think about that. If the energy's not flowing through your brain, through your head, you
Wow.
start, yeah,
I did not put that together.
yeah, exactly. You're stuck.
Mm.
And there's a disease that has these very symptoms, and we'll talk about that in just a minute.
All right.
Yeah, you're going to want to know what that is. When our consciousness does not evolve and we do not accept the higher truths and realities, then we start to live in a fear-based world. So when you look at people that are living in a lot of fear-based moments, which who isn't right now with everything that's going on, part of that is not being able to accept that there's a higher truth in some of that, what's
Mm.
really going on. We can also become overwhelmed with ego-based worries and thoughts and concerns, and then eventually we are locked into our own little prison because we can't. And that's what is prison. It's confining. Yeah, you're confined to only these thoughts. But if we're meant to evolve and we're meant to think
Mhm.
more and beyond and expand,
Mhm.
that has to come from the sixth chakra. And you
This
have to,
is what killed my mother. This is what drove my mother to take her life.
yeah.
It's
She
what you just, I just got this now. It just hit me right now.
There you go.
Um, I didn't know about my mom's suicide. My stepmom kept those letters, but it's a longer story. So let me get to the punchline of it really. And that is my mom gave me my creative side, gave me that open side, gave me that, you take creative
Hmm.
mom and possibility mom, and here we are. But it was never accepted. My dad never accepted it. She was an entrepreneur. She had her own little soda store, I guess you called it. But he restricted it.
Yeah.
He didn't give her what she needed. She didn't have a way to express herself. And life got too hard.
Yeah. and got overwhelmed. And there you go. It's exactly how things happen.
Drugs and alcohol. He kept her on the drugs. Back there, that's what you did to the
Oh
women.
yeah. Yeah. And yes, we're going to talk about drugs in just a minute too. The sixth chakra is also a place of neutrality. I love the fact that it's where if we want to become neutral and you want to become an observer of what's going on in your life and the life of others, go sit in your sixth chakra and get neutral. That means you
Mm,
have no judgment about what other people are doing, no judgment about what you've done. You get that clarity. If people always are asking for clarity, it comes from being neutral, and that comes from the sixth chakra. So go sit in your sixth chakra and think of and just observe things that are going on in your life. It's an inner observance. It's not
mm,
an outer observance. And and this is also where our clairvoyance comes from. And if you have trouble focusing, little memory issues or whatever, fuzzy thinking, that all comes from the sixth chakra. Yeah. And think about it. Do you know anybody that's struggling with memory right now? A lot of people.
yeah, a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and they struggle with that. And I believe, it is my belief, I can't prove this, but it's my belief that there's some kind of older people that get this. They have some type of blockage in their sixth chakra, and it shows up in the older age. And I also believe it could be possibly a blocked pineal gland, maybe causing them to
mhm.
lose touch with their spirituality. Because if we're
But
not
let's
in,
talk about that for a minute.
yeah,
In this culture, but if you look at other cultures that
different
that
story.
that that don't treat their elderly the way we treat them here, right? You
Yeah,
understand what I'm saying,
I know
right? At the
exactly what you're
moment,
saying. Yeah,
where I'm going
yeah.
with that,
Mm-hmm.
you got to ask yourself why. And so what happens is we're studying what they're eating. We should be studying how
And
they're
with
treated.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because you think about it, if you're being treated good, you're going to keep coming back around for that because that's what keeps you alive. That is literally keeping you
Yeah,
alive. The good words, the conversation, the love, the feeling, the compassion. But if you're not getting that, you're sitting over here and you're going to wither away because your soul's not being fed what it needs to survive.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's nothing money can buy.
Mm,
Nothing. So some of the organs that are associated with the sixth chakra, of course, the head, the brain, the neurological systems, but we talked about already the eyes, the nose, the sinuses, anything to do with the face, the pineal gland, which is in the sixth chakra. Your lymphatic system is controlled through your sixth chakra. Also, your carotid arteries. So, arteries in the neck. That's where
mm,
people have blockages a lot. How many people know somebody that has a blocked carotid artery? On an emotional level, that's not the only thing
mm.
that's blocked. Um, so, general health concerns are headaches, such as migraines, brain tumors, stroke, seizures, neurological disturbances. Dyslexia comes from the sixth chakra, just like your stuttering comes from the sixth chakra. Mental illness, your mom,
Yeah,
personality disorders, Alzheimer's. So that's what I was referring to earlier
yeah,
yeah, whenever you can't take change and things that happen and the brain starts to shrink. That's what Alzheimer's does. It shrinks there's some brain shrinkage there.
yeah,
And again, there's other physical components to that, but I'm talking emotional stuff. Chronic sinus issues, hallucinations, seeing things that are not really there, sleep orders, disturbance in your sleep. That's all sixth chakra issues. And but so how do we bring that sixth chakra back into balance? Well, one of the things we can do is to do visualization techniques.
yeah,
And the short, quick way I would say that is to visualize an apple. And in your mind's eye, visualize an apple. Describe it in detail. What does it look like? What color is it? How big is it? Does it have a bite taken out of it? Does it have a bruise? And then using your clairvoyant vision, look at the bottom of the apple. Then tilt it back up and look at the top of the apple. You can do this with your eyes open, you can do this with your eyes closed, but what are you seeing? And every time you do that, no matter what object it's with, or even if it's with a person, try to remember someone's facial features, with the shape of their eyes, whatever. You're exercising that intuition, you're exercising that clairvoyance
mm,
muscle. So that's really good thing to do. And use your creative imagination. And who was famous for that? None other than Walt Disney. He was a very, very creative person,
yeah,
and his sixth chakra was always open, and he was always creating, and he brought his visualizations to life because of that, because he
yeah,
could see so clearly and so plainly. He
yeah.
brought he brought those visualizations
Yeah,
to
James
reality.
Cameron and Spielberg are up there too. I mean,
Oh
there are other
yeah.
people,
Oh
but I
yeah.
think James Cameron is he's the dude that just don't quit. I'm a little
Yeah.
disappointed he's not going to have Schwarzenegger in the next
Oh well.
Terminator movie. All right. But part of this is you have to really look at your signs and
Oh
you're
yeah.
giving a solution. But I want to mention again, for those of you that may be thinking, I don't know how I'm going to handle this, once you get a hold of Tracy,
Yep. Call me up.
right?
TracyRFrederick.com or mitracy.com.
Right.
Send me a message. I'll be happy to respond to you and we can get you on a track that will help you to understand what's going
Yeah.
on with your emotions and your thoughts and get you on the right track to healing.
Now let's
Absolutely.
get to my favorite chakra.
Yay, the seventh chakra. Of course, that's just above the head. Its location is just above the head. It's not actually in the physical body, but this is where enlightenment occurs. And that's a whole nother discussion that we're not even going to go down that trail because enlightenment is a whole thing on its own. But it's where our connection to higher consciousness, to the divine, to the larger reality, that's what the seventh chakra is all about. It houses our soul, and our soul is what survives even at physical death. It's the part of our lives, the part of our lives that never dies. The soul is always going to be intact. And we're made of energy. That energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. So we just change from this physical form back into spirit. But that all happens through the seventh chakra. If you've ever been in a room when someone has passed away, and hospice nurses see this a lot, they will sometimes see the spirit leave the body through the crown chakra. And
Yeah.
that's just how it happens. That when we die, that's we do exit through the crown chakra. This energy center empowers us to evolve through attracting and creating those opportunities that are going to teach us, that are going to challenge us, they're going to create joy. And for this chakra, it's all about recognizing and acknowledging that life is our teacher, the good, the difficult, and everything in between. It's about how we live life. And that's what this seventh chakra does for us. It gives us access to the spirit guides, to our angels, to the divine. And one point that I'd like to make for my own self for people to understand this a little bit better is whenever I got the download to write my book, that came in through the crown chakra. That's where the download came in, and I was given all the information that I needed to know to write this book and to get it done. That was that voice that says, write this book. So that's how when you hear people getting downloads. Also, people that channel, they're channeling through that seventh chakra. Their seventh chakra is open wide enough to receive that information and do whatever they want to do with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well, tell
also,
everybody the name of your book though.
Meet my friend Jesus. Connecting
Yeah.
with Jesus through friendship and conversation. Go to my
Yeah.
website. You can get it for free. Get the ebook for free. If you want
Yeah.
a physical hard copy, write me a letter. I'll mail one to you. But yeah, free book. Cute, just short and sweet and to the point. But love my friend Jesus. And when we're not living our soul plan, we're not doing what we came here to do. It's the seventh chakra that's going to take over and it's going to make sure that something gets your attention. That something could be you lost your job. That something could be that you've got this illness that's life threatening. It could be divorce. It could be some type of financial ruin. When those major things happen, it's because your path has changed, whether you know it or not. And you may have wanted to go in one direction, but your soul wants to go in another. Or it could just be, hey, soul plan changed, and now you need to know about it.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
I'm trying to get better at recognizing it because I've been fired from every job I've had. I got a mystery disease when I fought continuing on the path I'm on now. I thought I had to go back into corporate. So I just don't want to be doing that anymore.
I hear you. I hear you. So just, listen to the guidance is the only thing I can say. Just be open to whatever's going to come up. That's all I can say.
I'm
But
with you on that.
yeah, yeah.
I'll call you later.
Yeah, I had a really good experience with that. I was doing some coaching training with a friend, and she comes to me one day after 6 months, and she says, all my colleagues are telling me, why am I training my competition? And she's like, so I'm not going to train you anymore. She took on the belief that for whatever reason I was her competition, which I solely was not because she was light years ahead of me. But anyway, I had this real calmness that came over me because I instantly knew that was no longer the plan. That was no longer the plan I was supposed to be going. So what happened for me was I was no longer able to blame her. I didn't decide, oh, I can't believe she said that. I can't believe she did that. No, 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 no. That's just how the divine presented that opportunity to say, Tracy, that's not your path. Let it go. And I really wish people could really get that, because we would stop blaming other people, because there's always going to be something better, and it's going to show up. And this is how it shows up for you sometimes.
No question about it.
No, absolutely not. You know, this chakra also brings in blessings and miracles, and we all could stand a few of those. Um, but some of the ways that this chakra can be out of balance: resistance to change, deny your spirituality. Uh, you will have the inability to trust life. Just you don't even trust life anymore. You freak out. And again, the seventh chakra is not located in the body, but it affects the entire body. It affects your overall health physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It affects everything. And it brings on things such as depression, apathy, allergies, epilepsy, Parkinson's, schizophrenia. All of these disorders, panic disorders, nervous system disorders, they're all coming on through that seventh chakra. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, one of the favorite ones I like to mention, let's mention it, stagnation. Now we call it stuckness. I don't care what you call it. I
Yeah.
built an entire brand on my life history around it called Unstuckable. But these are the things though. This is why I said to you, and I do have a love-hate relationship with this chakra, but this is also what you said, if you could just touch upon that. It really encompasses everything else. So is it like overall health,
Yeah.
overall, what is
Yes.
that?
Well, because overall meaning, it's all areas of it's some, like if you're having an issue in the seventh chakra, chances are it's affecting you mentally. What are you
Mhm.
talk? What are you saying? Emotionally, what are you feeling? Spiritually, who am I? Where am I? What am I? What's going on with me? And then physically, you will get a physical condition. So that's how it affects all aspects of you in all those areas. It can, you're going to get all of those things. And then that's how you feel like, oh my God, I'm really messed up, you know, when you really can tune in to all of those
Yeah.
aspects.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how are we going to clear that up? Well, one of the things that we can do is, of course, prayer and meditation, do some type of spiritual study. That's very helpful. Learn something new. My dad, 87 years old, he likes to play the guitar. He told me last week, yeah, I'm going to go by that music store, and I'm going to get such and such because there's a new song I want to learn. At 87, he has no problems, no health issues really whatsoever. He's very healthy. His crown chakra is wide open. So learn something new. Physical exercise, we know the benefits of that, so we've got to stay on it with that. Also, this is something I want to tell everyone. If you want to heal your entire chakra system, if you want to do a healing on your entire chakra system and you want to activate your chakras, the thing that you can do is say the Lord's Prayer. That is a chakra activation. That is a way to heal what's going on with you. So when you say the words, you want to feel those words. You want to feel what's being activated within you. And the Lord's Prayer is nothing new to a lot of people. But if we didn't know that or didn't realize it now, we can start to say that prayer with a different mindset and allow yourself to be healed.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's used quite a bit at 12-step meetings.
Ah, didn't realize that because I've never
Yeah.
been to one of those. Okay,
Yep.
good to know.
Yep.
Good to know. I know we're about out of time. It's just, and I do want to say this is one final thing that I want to say about the chakra system in general. It's not about having a perfectly balanced chakra system at all time. That's not the goal. The goal is awareness, because when we can become aware of what's happening within us, then we have the opportunity to change how we feel, change how we think. How can we grow from the experiences that we're having?
Hmm.
So to me, the real question is, it's very simple. What am I, it's not about are my chakras balanced? It's is what is my body, my energy, my life trying to show me? What is my life trying to tell me? That's the message that we want to leave you with through this entire chakra system.
Tracy, thank you for today. Please give out your website one more time. Let
Yes.
people know how to get a hold of you.
TracyRFrederick.com or mitracy.com. I hope you got a lot of benefit. Go back and listen to those last two shows, combine it with this one. And if you have any questions, please give me a call. I'd love to talk to you about your chakra system.
Yeah. And I just want to say the reason that Tracy is doing this is because this is so that those of you that may not understand what's going on and may think you're beyond help, that you're
Yeah.
beyond something. And
Yeah.
it's not that. It's just that we don't know. We don't know what to do. And that's what
Right.
Tracy does. That's what she's
Absolutely.
known for. That's what her entire essence is about, helping all of you. I hope
Yes.
today, like what I said earlier, a little light bulb went on for me as I prepared for this. I hope it did for you. Thank you, Tracy, for
Thank
everything.
you. Thanks, everybody.
All right. See y'all next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Healing Perspectives podcast with me, certified medical intuitive Tracy Frederick. I want to invite you to join me every second and fourth Monday on ttrnetwork.com and become part of something bigger. Send healing love to yourself and to others. Think about how you can heal and then take action. And when you do, tell someone so they can heal too. Let's create a ripple effect of healing all over the world. If you'd like my personal guidance, visit my website at mitracy.com.